we will carry on. Rebecca will get this back online. Yes, so stream back on, please.
Yes, hello,
Okay,
people.
one second. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for your patience. We just had some internal administrative matters, and we're now working on the Foreign Affairs Act, and Ferda's presenting on that. And after that, we'll have a break. Then we'll have one very short break. Then we'll have one more piece of legislation from John Fine, and then pretty much finished. So yeah, Ferda, over to you. Thanks.
Thank you very much. As you see, my voice is very bad, and already John Fine did an amazing job by reading it, and I will try my chance to read it actually on the digital sitting. So I'm saving my voice for the foreign affairs. For the third reading, we are successful not to change anything but small wording. The concept and the act is same as the second reading. So if our colleagues want to discuss anything else, I'm here to answer their questions and interact with their discussion, but I don't want to read the Foreign Affairs Act right now. In general concept, we are continuing with the activities of the Foreign Affairs Ministry and Committee with the articles already about the accountability accords, ambassadors, attaches, bilateral relations, conference and congress, consular agents, consulates, conventions, credentials, delegations, dignitary and diplomats, diplomatic immunity, embassy, memorandum of understanding agreements between two or more parties, that means countries, and NGOs, passports, persona non grata, presidents, and protocols, treat, United Nations, visas, and goes in the detail. So, do my colleagues have any questions? Thank you very much.
Thanks very much indeed. Any questions or comments for Ferda, who's not well, and she has got a meeting, so go be kind to her. Be kind to her. It's a great piece of legislation, I think. Great, really great.
John Fine did an amazing job, and in back 5 years in the first parliament, he already worked a lot, so there is nothing to tell more. Yeah. I'm saving your time right now. We are in the third reading successfully.
Yeah. So any questions, comments? John?
Please.
John.
Voice is closed, Joe. You need to open.
Oh, hadn't made that mistake in a while. I guess I was due one. But yeah, I think this is a great piece of legislation, and I know all I did was reorganize it, but I reorganized stuff that's been discussed and talked about ever since the first parliament until now, and it's just. And I think we put it into a great order, and I just want to say that I appreciate everybody that had a hand in this, which is quite a few people. There's no way I can name them all, so just thank you to everybody, both in the first parliament and the second parliament, for all their help, including the parliament chairman. But thank you.
Yeah, I'll take all the credit, John. Thanks very much. Let's go to, I won't take all the credit. I'll take very little credit. 5% of it. You can have the rest. Ariadne, you're next.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, it's amazing. It's very extensive, and I think it's the way to create the path for the future Minister of Foreign Affairs. The addresses that he needs to knowing to create the embassies and to create the relationships with the countries. Yes, I like it so much. Yes, it's something huge, but it's okay for me. Thank you. Thank you, Ferda.
Thank you very much indeed. Good praise. Anyone else? Remember, Ferda's got a bad voice, so you don't make her talk too much, please. All right. Thank you. What we'll do, thank you, Ferda. I'm not going to make you summarize. You need to protect yourself for your meeting. I'll call you in just a moment. Don't strangle yourself. No, please don't do that. We haven't got a health service in Asgardia. Right. Thank you, everyone. We'll just have a short break. It's 31, so we'll have a break till 40, and just 10 minutes. I'll just give you a quick call now so that I don't have to call later. And then after that, we will go to the last item of legislation we're covering. It's John Fine again, Digital Property Act. Then we've done internal housekeeping. Then it's just future events. So we've got one piece of legislation and future events, and then we finish. It's a bit longer than I thought, but then we took a bit longer on administration than I thought. Okay, so see you in 10 minutes. I'll be here. I'm just going to silence things. Hi, sorry about the delay. Okay, welcome back. John, are you ready to do your next piece of work?
Absolutely.
Okay, John, over to you.
Okay.
And then after
For,
that, I'll have a quick talk about future events and we'll be finished. It's a little bit longer than I predicted, but we're still within the 4 hours. I guess we'll be finished latest in 45 minutes. So over to you.
okay, thank you. I'll share my screen. Oh, okay, the Asgardia Digital Property Act. This is the third reading. And if you to know it's the authentic reading, it's the May 6th edition. Basically, this act has not changed hardly any since the second reading. There were a few changes implemented from the ALF session that we had during the second reading, and I will try to go over those changes. And there was a few grammar uh, items changed as well. I don't remember all the grammar items changed, so I'm not going to be able to go over all those, but I will go over uh, what I believe has been changed. The core principles stayed pretty much the same. I did reduce it down a little bit on the core principles. I instead we had 4 here originally. I incorporate the 2 of them were pretty much said the same thing, so I incorporated it up into the explanation above and just shortened that a little bit. It seemed to flow better that way. Of course, the articles didn't change at all. The purpose didn't change. I did change the word from I used to have objective here. I changed it to purpose because I noticed everybody else was using purpose in their legislation, and so to stay and try to keep things uh, continuity, I changed my word to purpose as well, and maybe that's the way we stack up our acts from here on out, because I noticed everybody's using the word purpose instead of the word objective, even though the 2 words mean the same, basically. Um, Legal basis pretty much stayed the same. All I did was made it, before I said the Asgardia Constitution was all the legal basis. This basis is the same thing, just sounds a little bit more elegant, put in that way. And since it is an official legal document, I thought elegancy was appropriate. Uh, Registration didn't change. That's all the same. Digital property actually got reduced from the second reading. Uh, uh, 2 of the provisions were taken off because they were unnecessary. But the first 2 remaining 2 stayed on. And uh, and that was just to reduce redundancy because the other 2 were pretty redundant, and I agreed with that suggestion. Copyright stayed the same, patents stayed the same, trademark stayed the same, artificial legal person did change. I'll read that one out. Artificial, Article 6, artificial legal person will be considered an organization, company, association, and relevant artificial intelligence or advanced robotics expressly ascribed to this status within the provisions of this act. An artificial legal person will then be considered the original author, proprietor, or exclusive manager of trade secrets to the relevant intellectual properties. And that's relevant to the organization, a company, association, etc. So uh, basically what that's saying is that if If an organization has a AI system that they're utilizing as a to manage certain changes within their organization, and they rely on that artificial intelligence to do that, then it's perfectly legal for them to do that, basically, or advanced robotics of some sort. And in the past, we wouldn't see that a need for something like that, but as we can see how technology is advancing, artificial intelligence is becoming a very real part of our lives. It's almost in just about everything we do. So, and the future is supposed to be even more pronounced than what it is today. For instance, and that goes for robotics too. You know, robotics is getting more and more advanced as we move along. And so the Trade and Commerce Committee felt it was necessary that we had a provision to cover that advancement. And this is that provision, the artificial legal person, to help cover that advancement. Other provisions, that's shortened down a little bit. It's just under exceptional circumstances, it may be necessary to register under more than one intellectual property category. This will be established by precedent. And it just became more simpler. Original authorship rights didn't change. Moral authority didn't change. Right of attribution didn't change. Right of integrity did not change. Asgardia National Intellectual Property Protection. Don't believe that changed. Oh, yes, that one did change a little bit. Let's see. Okay, let's see, where was that? And basically, it just changed the way to make it more understandable, I guess. I'll go ahead and read that provision. Inventions will be considered any invention, discovery, design, developed, process, or improvement discovered or created by a person for the Asgardia Space Nation, found or created alone or in conjunction with others. If, and this is the part that changed basically, before it says it put the responsibility more on Asgardia, but now it's more or less just the responsibility is just being stated as an action, basically. If within 1 year of production of such work, the individual responsible has not exercised the option of copyright, patent, or trademark such work, such an invention shall be considered the property of the Asgardia Space Nation. So before it said if Asgardia Space Nation didn't if within 1 year did not exercise the right to keep the work, then it would become that it would go back to the individual. But this way, it's more focused on the actual event itself of what happens to that property once it is implemented or put in. And it's just the property they're talking about there is just property that's actually discovered or used when it's under the authority of Asgardia Space Nation. So not individual people's property, more or less. Okay, so let's see here. If in the course of a person's engagement by the Asgardia Space Nation, they use, provide, or incorporate any goods or services exclusively for the nation intellectual property, Asgardia shall own the intellectual property and proprietary rights for the work, including, and this changed, no, that didn't, okay, to make, use, copy, modify, or create derivative works of such intellectual property, Them all stayed the same. I'm not going to read those again because they all stayed the same. 12-3 is the one that changed. Someone seeking intellectual property rights may authorize an agent or attorney in fact on behalf of person to issue patents, copyrights, trademarks, digital properties, or other protections, same legal. And I think that just the order, the word order changed a little bit. See, confidential information. See. Yeah, that changed a little bit on trade secret. Shall mean data, material, formula, pattern, computation, program, device, method, technique, unique to the entity that uniquely uses these practices and procedures. And it's just a wording a little bit to make it more explanatory. Let's see. Oh, yes. 14.4 changed. In digital property law, direct infringement occurs when a person without authorization reproduces, distributes copies, hijacks, pirates, hacks. That was the word that changed. We had a different word there. Honestly, I can't remember what the word was, but it was suggested that that word was taken out, and we changed it to hacks to make it more to make it fit the actual article, because we're talking about digital property and we're talking about what a person can do with digital property. And the word we were using could actually be misused in another way that it doesn't particularly pertain to digital property. So so we changed it to the word hacks, which does. We're all familiar with that word. Displays, performs, mimics, clones, or represents any digital asset. Intellectual security did not change. That all stayed the same. So yeah, that was about it. I didn't have much to go over because it virtually is the same, other than just the way a few words were changed around to make it more understandable. And some words were omitted and replaced with words that made more sense. And that was it. And all those changes were made, of course, during the ALF. We had a while back that people had made. But anyway, that was all I have. That's the this is the official document that I will be submitting for third reading.
Thank you, John. Really helpful. Any questions or comments to John? Anybody? Okay, there isn't really much to argue. Go on.
Carol asked, does that mean we cannot share news articles?
What? Oh, yeah, okay. Who does?
I was wondering, can she clarify that a little bit, Carol?
Carol
Well, for instance, when I'm doing my blogging, I usually go to like the Asgardia website and I look at the Asgardia news, and then I blog whatever the news article is.
No,
but that would be copying
no,
the news
no,
that's already on the website.
No, because the web, what is displayed on the Asgardia website is considered open source. So
Okay.
everything on the website can be shared, and,
Okay.
and that's on the website itself in the language somewhere. I can't remember, but yeah, it says that you can share anything on the website because it's all considered open source. So
Okay, thank you.
no.
Any other questions or comments here? I think it's pretty much ready to go, John. I think it's really good. Like
That's
the Foreign
good.
Affairs thing.
Thank you.
Document thing. Legislation, sorry. Wasn't very parliamentary language.
I hope my question that I had during the I am not going to mention that here because we're on.
We'll talk about it offline. I'll call you later. No,
Okay.
I think make a general point. I felt that the dialogue was entirely reasonable. But so don't worry, really don't worry. I'll call you after the meeting. So don't worry. Please don't worry.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. But I understand your concern, but you don't need to be concerned. Right. Thank you. I don't think there's anyone else. John, that's great. Further, thank you. I know Further's had to go. John, thank you. And Ada, thanks for standing in for Ricky. That's all the legislation done today. I think, as I said before, I think we'll have 2 more pieces of new legislation which will come in. But that will take its time. We'll have one more Asgardia Legislative Forum before the digital sitting. But thank you to everyone who's done so much work here. Really appreciate it. Excellent work. Right, let's go back to the agenda. We're nearly finished now. We've done all the legislation. The one thing I wanted to talk about was, and we've done the internal housing, just future events. I went to Dallas, and it was really 100% worthwhile. I think it was a really good event, really productive, very successful. I really appreciate what TJ and Sarah Clark did. Really fantastic work. You should be proud of yourselves. I'll put that on the record in the messaging. It was a risk to go all that way, but it was so absolutely worth being there. So I'm willing to come to events anywhere if you think it's helpful. I will go and see further because we have to work on the embassy project for Istanbul. It's really important. It's a great opportunity for Asgardia. So all I need to ask you people is if there's anything that you know, you don't have to tell me now, but if you know any events which are coming up, please let me know. If I can make it, I will make it. I will come when that opportunity becomes possible, in the sense that as long as I don't have another commitment, then I will come and visit. That's very important to me. It's a matter of just logistics. What I'm expecting, if we do it, is media coverage and new residents. Those are the 2 measures. And we need to get a big number of new residents each time, because it's our job. Bridget's often talking about this, and Teresa Jones as well. We need to get more residents. And if you are watching anywhere in the world, please do join us. Really want you to join us. It's very important. And I'd like you to feel that you are able to come to a welcoming environment, welcome society, which really has your interests at heart. So please do join Asgardia. That's €100 a year, or $100 a year, or £100 a year, and you become part of the future. That's all I really wanted to say about that. Faliona can put on my list that I shall share a request to everybody. I'll do it at the end of this meeting. So now let me review the agenda. We've done 3 hours, which is actually not bad. We opened it and I made a few announcements. Then I talked about the agenda for the digital sitting, which is what we've been discussing here, plus 2 first reading items, I think. Then we discussed John Fine's Asgardia Consumer Protection Act. Thank you for that, John. Followed by the Asgardia Information Safety and Cybersecurity Act. Thank you to Ada for helping in Ricky Sickles' absence. Then we had our internal housekeeping procedures discussion. After that, we had the Foreign Affairs Act. Poor Ferda doesn't have a good voice at the moment, but she did a good job. And thank you for that. That's very exciting. Then we did the Asgardia Digital Property Act with John Fine. Thank you, John, for that. And then I've just mentioned future events, which leads us to any other business. Is there anything else we need to cover today? While you're thinking about this, if there is no any other business from you, then we will close when I finish my commentary. We got up to 34 before, so we'll close when it's down to 16 participants. This week, the timing will be 1 hour earlier for both of the meetings. So it'll be 1600 UTC for the chairs meeting and 1700 UTC for the meeting of colleagues. Sorry, correction, that's incorrect. That's right. Yeah, 1600 UTC for the chairs meeting, 1700 UTC for the meeting of Parliament, Q&A on Thursday. I'll send a note out to remind you. It's because I'm having to travel and I won't be able to do the meeting at the normal time. Okay, I don't see anyone else. So thank you everyone for being involved today. We conclude there. 3 hours and 3 hours, which is a good, sensible time. I really appreciate you all being here. John, I'll give you a call in a moment. Oh, Sarah, hi. I was praising you. I didn't see you there before. Sarah, I think once again, I will keep doing this. I want to keep thanking Sarah for that great event in Dallas. It shows what can be done. There were some big challenges, and we overcame all of them and had a great event. In fact, I'll call you Sarah once I've spoken with John, if that's okay. I've just got one question about photographs. Sarah's article is going into the Room magazine as well, so that's great news. So your name will be in lights, Sarah. And the diamond ring picture, that's the one I want to have. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of the day. When we get to 16, then I shall shut it down. And thank you to the team as well. So, John, I'll call you, then I'll call Sarah, and then that'll be it. So it'll probably be about 10 minutes, Sarah, and 2 minutes for you, John. So we close the ALF. We'll have one more before the next digital sitting. And remember, if you have first reading proposal, I would like to have 2 more items in the next digital sitting agenda, something at the end of June, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Have a great rest of the day, and aho.